Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday on Tuesday. We are having a special guest today, and she was only able to be with us today. Her name is Jan Wallin, and we're going to be talking about the keto diet today with Miss Crystal Dominguez and Miss Jan Wallin. But before we get into that, you guys, remember me telling you about oil pulling? Yeah, I've seen dramatic differences in 1 week. I've noticed there's more space between my teeth, which means that the infection in my gums are diminishing because my gums are getting healed, and not blood in my, when I'm brushing my teeth, no more blood. I told Crystal a long time ago that I still have all four of my wisdoms. Well, my wisdom teeth are still in there, which means there's infection that starts in the back of the mouth, and whatever, you guys, you know the deal. They're hard to get back there to flush and everything. And all this oil pulling is really helping. It's not helping with the way I'm talking, though, obviously. Forgive me. But I just want you to know, in 1 week's time, I'm using organic coconut oil that I got from Aldi's, and I do it twice a day, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour a day, twice a day. So I don't want you to think I'm sitting there all day with a bunch of oil in my mouth at a 30-minute, for an hour a day, but I do it twice a day, before and after. And I brush my teeth directly afterwards. I try to floss before I oil pull, and then I literally, the key thing though is to spit it out in the trash. Do not do it down your teeth, because it'll mess up everything. So that being said, I want to, because we're going to touch on the dental and the keto diet, you guys, which I just found that out today. So it's pretty amazing what you're going to learn today. But Crystal, please help us with a little background from you. And then if you would please introduce Jan for us, that would be great.
Well, I am a natural health and herb specialist, also a holistic health coach. I've been doing this for several years, and I started doing it because back in 2006, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, a inflammatory bowel disease. And I went into the hospital, didn't understand what was going on, tried to give me medications, and they just made things worse. So I found another way. I found a naturopathic doctor who is now my colleague and good friend. And she taught me so much, among other naturopathic doctors and health practitioners, including Jan. I have learned so much from Jan too over the years. So I started from there, my health journey, because from that point on, my body started healing and getting better. And it was, to me, that was a big deal, because I was in the hospital on my deathbed. Yep. So that is why I got into this and all that. So I'm excited to start this journey with you guys.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you know Jan?
I know Jan from actually Nature Sunshine. I would call her my colleague too, and a good friend. I think we met back around 2013 when I started doing Nature Sunshine, because those are the supplements I use when I was using it for my health issues. I don't want to connect those two together.
Yeah,
exactly. But yeah, that's what helped me that's what nursed me back to health. And that's how I met Jan, was through that. We would have these business meetings and stuff and see each other all the time. And we had some good times together.
Well, Jan, can you tell me a little bit about you and your background? And why you got into keto exactly, actually.
Yeah. So I actually just used to do regular jobs all my life until I was like 48 years old. And I never really knew what I wanted to do when I grew up,
So, I'm still figuring that out.
That's right. But I was at a doctor's appointment with my husband. We were searching for better answers for his disease, and we wanted more holistic answers. So I was in the waiting room, and I saw this ad for this nutrition. It was a holistic nutrition consultant. And I thought that was I'm like, you always hated your jobs. Here, you could do this, try it out. So I go to work the next day, and I'm sitting there talking to a girl at work, and she says, you should be a nutritionist. Light bulb went on. Oh my gosh, you're right.
Wow.
So I went home and enrolled in that class the next day. So then, a year later, and this was back in 2007. So then it was a year program. I did that, and then I continued to work there for a little while, and knew that I would eventually do something else. And then an opportunity came along, and I had my own store for a while, and out in Lewisburg, Kansas, and I did that for 6 years. Along with selling Nature Sunshine products, but I was teaching classes at that point, doing some low carb, and Nature Sunshine has a program called Inform, and that was a low carb program, which was great, but I just found for myself, it wasn't low carb enough. So I started looking for more and more ways that I could improve that for myself, which keto was the deal. Keto, you're just, no more than 20 grams of carbs. So I started doing more and more of that. And then I just hit it all at one time. I woke up one morning and I had these pins and needles in my feet. And I thought, that's a sign of neuropathy, which is a sign of type 2 diabetes. And I thought, you know what? I need to do something, and I also need to walk my talk. I'm a holistic nutritionist, and I am, not the picture of health. So I went all in 4 years ago. It is actually almost exactly 4 years ago that I started on keto, and I have never looked back. I have never cheated. And it has changed my life, and I'm never going back. So
wow.
Yeah. So it has been
okay. So you touched on something. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but you touched on something that's really important that I want to get really known out there. How is keto and diabetes a good match? Tell me more about that.
Sure. So when you're in ketosis, and it's nutritional ketosis, not ketoacidosis. We could talk about that later, but you are burning fat for fuel instead of glucose. Okay. So anybody that has type 2 diabetes or even type 1, my son is a type 1 diabetic. Your body is you have all that glucose in your body, and your pancreas becomes so confused over the years with type 2 that it doesn't know how to function correctly. And so then anytime you eat any kind of sugar or any kind of starch, your blood sugars will rise, and your pancreas doesn't function correctly to lower it back down like a normal person that doesn't have diabetes. So when you're doing keto, you're literally not ingesting glucose. You are just having your, basically meat and green vegetables. So that eliminates that rise in blood sugar for your body to have to compensate for. So even my son, who's a type 1 diabetic, he'll always have to have medication. There's no way around that. So, but whenever he does low carb or keto, he doesn't have to take near as much insulin. His body gets better at using the insulin that he takes, and it's a lot less sensitive. Or more sensitive actually. So he can take lesser amounts of insulin and create the same thing in his body. So it's even beneficial for type 1s to do it, but type 2 definitely is 100% curable. I mean, it really is 100%. You can totally eliminate type 2 diabetes, 100%.
Okay.
And the information's out there about that. I mean, yeah. So does that answer your question?
The difference between type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes is type 2 is done through diet and type 1 is done through insulin injections.
Right. Type 1 is an autoimmune disease. So type 1, your body has attacked your pancreas and it does not function at all.
Yeah, the pancreas has been damaged, so it doesn't produce insulin anymore. So it's insulin dependent. And then type 2 is where the pancreas produces too much, and the body just doesn't
or not enough,
and it just doesn't know what to give. So you still need the right amount of insulin, but your body becomes like resistant. So type 2 is you're insulin resistant. Type 1, you're insulin dependent.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And keto helps because we're not throwing a lot of sugars in the body. We're not doing a lot of glucose in the body. So it's burning fat versus burning sugars.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah. So I wanted everybody to know the difference. I wanted everybody to see the difference because this is a lot of information for us who don't know and are struggling. So again, I also want to know, because I've been told that red meat rises blood pressure. So explain to me how being on a keto diet is going to help or not help my high blood pressure.
So I'm not even sure where that information comes from, because just like they talk about salt is the same thing. And it's like that. There's just so much wrong information out there. But red meat is so nutritious. I mean, it is what our ancestors ate. It is how we survived. You know, we didn't even eat a lot of vegetables. We were foraging when we could in season for maybe a few berries, but we weren't out there growing plants. And a lot of the plants actually have anti-nutrients. And I know that goes against a lot of people that are trying to eat more plants, but they do have a lot of anti-nutrients and cause a lot of people digestive problems. But meat has always been, you know, what we have, it's sustained us. The good fats in the meat, and then the protein in the meat, which is our building blocks of our body. We have to have those good proteins in order to have a healthy body. I really don't know that there really is a connection, because all the information that I've seen does not show any connection there. Okay. A lot of the information that we get about that, you have to find out where that information is coming from, because most likely it's people that have an agenda.
All my life. I've heard it all my life from doctors. Yeah.
Here's what it is. Here's
they
what
don't know nutrition. They don't know nutrition.
They don't. Here's what it is, though. When our bodies are deficient of enzymes and we can't digest, or we don't have enough hydrochloric acid in our stomachs to digest things, so what we do not digest turns into acid. So, and when it turns into acid, it causes inflammation and disease in the body. So and red meat, yes, it's a little harder to digest. Plant protein is a little easier to digest. So that's why you can assimilate it sometimes better. But if you had the right enzymes and you stabilized your blood sugars and you gave your body what it needs, you should be able to digest that red meat. But sometimes also I incorporate at the same time blood type diets with keto or with plant-based. You know, you have to. Yeah, that's how Jan is so successful, I think, too, is because us herbalists, we see this diet and we do focus a lot like on recipes and stuff from it, because that's where our low carb, that's where no sugar comes in. But we can also, you can do keto and be plant-based. You can do keto and be completely vegan. I mean, there's so many options available now that you can do those things. So if you
that's really good point, that you can do keto and not have to necessarily do the red meats or the meats at all. So that's really important. And being a nutritionist, you'll be able to walk people through doing that and be healthy on the same side. And you pointed out something that people don't ordinarily know, you guys, and that is blood type. Blood type is really important to know when it comes to your diet and how your body responds to different nutrients and just the way you eat. I'm a O positive blood type. I know I need red meat. I know that. So for me to go keto, I'm not keto. I'm sorry. For me to go vegan may not be as I might not be as successful as someone with another blood type. So please know that your blood type means a lot on your dietary intake, what your body does, and also what eating habits, and I don't like to say diet, what eating habits, how it affects your body. It really does make a difference. But I do have a question for you guys. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Crystal, please.
I just want to add in real fast that, like, when you are vegan or doing plant-based, it is a good idea to supplement like B vitamins and other things, and make sure you're getting like superfoods with those amino acids in it, because you do need those building blocks, because you can become very ill. You have to have that protein, but you just make sure that you're getting sources. You're at least supplementing if you're not getting it through your food.
Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So there's a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. One is the keto diet and how it affects the kidneys. And the secondly is the when I was pregnant, I remember the doctor saying something about me going into ketosis, or I wanted to know how much protein was in the blood, and that if it was too much, it would be not a good thing. And I also have been told that that is what happens on a keto diet. So please clear that up for us.
So yeah, I don't know that there's protein in the blood. I do know that a lot of people
Protein in the
associate
urine.
eating red meat with.
I meant the urine. I'm sorry. I meant
But
keto
even
in
then,
the
it's not
protein
really
in the urine.
necessarily related with the keto diet, because actually one expert that I've listened to several times says that there's actually more problems with kidneys with the carb diet. More people have problems with the carbs than they do really with the protein. And I'm not sure, again, why some of these doctors, they want to make red meat the bad guy, but it's been around for hundreds of years. I mean, it's just really sad how that comes out, because I have listened to this one guy. He's Dr. Barry. He's got 1 million videos, but he talks about the kidneys and how there's actually more problems with kidneys with a carb heavy diet than there is with a meat diet. So again, it does come back to the blood type, because I have O blood types have no problem with keto. I've never had anybody that did. Now, A blood types, they do have a little harder time, and they do, have to watch how much meat, and they have to take their enzymes because they need to be able to digest that meat. But it has been done. I know lots of people that have done it, and I do know some that have done it like a vegan diet, although it's a lot harder to do it in a vegan way, because you got to have enough protein, and it's harder to get protein sources that are not starchy. But I mean, I do know that some people have done that. So, but
yeah, let me reiterate. I did not mean protein in the blood. I meant protein in the urine.
Sure.
So let me say that.
But I don't think that's even necessarily related with a keto diet.
Okay.
I really don't.
So ketosis, and that I've heard that the keto diet is hard on the kidneys, but you're saying that if it's done correctly, it won't be. Is what I'm hearing.
Because I've even heard some testimonials where people had kidney disease and that they have actually improved their disease with the keto diet. So,
because you're eliminating all those sugars. The sugar is what causes that acidic state, and too much acidity in the body. Right, too much acidity in the body will cause you to have UTIs, yeast infections, and kidney infections, all kidney stones, because you're not getting the minerals. And that's another thing I do want to get to and ask Jan is, what are the best supplements while you're on the keto diet? Because I know you have to have potassium, you have to have the right sodium, you have to have all that. So if you could also, I want to make sure that Kathy's is fully answered, but after that, go into what kind of supplements.
Yeah. And I do go into that in my keto quick start guide that you guys can all get for free as well from my website. If you opt into my list, you can get this guide, but it gives you all the things you need to get started on a keto diet. I mean, it's only 4 or 5 page long thing, but it gives you all that stuff, but it gives you the things you need to start with. So number one, the biggest thing is electrolytes. So you've got to have enough electrolytes, and really a lot of that is the sodium, believe it or not, because when you are in nutritional ketosis, your kidneys dump a lot of that extra fluid, which is actually a good thing, because you don't retain fluid. You'd be amazed at how, you feel so much better, because you're not all bloated up with water weight. It all goes away. But with urinating more, you're losing more of your sodium. So you have to replace that. And that's one of the reasons a lot of times people get keto flu in the beginning, is because they are not having enough sodium. So I always tell people, at least do some electrolytes. My favorite ones are the ones that are called Ultima. There's no sugar in them. You have to watch that when you're looking for electrolytes, because a lot of them do have sugar added in them, and you don't want those. But I take that, and I actually add a half a teaspoon every day to that drink of my good sea salt. And I have that every day, but that helps to prevent the feeling of the keto flu, which is really not a flu. It's just your body's adapting to the losing the electrolytes, and you have to replace them. So
can you explain the difference to me between the white fat and the brown fat, and how keto helps with burning both, or how does that work in the body?
Well, it just burns fat. I don't know about necessarily the white fat or the brown fat. I think some people think that if you do more fasting, you'll get more of the brown fat. But we all have fat cells, and they just shrink a lot of times. So sometimes if you have had a weight problem, it is a little harder long term to keep that off, because those fat cells are still there. They don't go away. They just shrink up. So, but the other thing that a lot of mistake that people make with keto is they start ingesting all of this fat. They're having all this in their coffee. They're putting, they're just drinking MCT oil because they think they need that, because they think they need all this fat to get into ketosis. But you do need some fat to get into ketosis initially. But once you have adapted your body, which takes about 6 to 8 weeks to fully adapt if you don't cheat. But once you do that, you want to burn your body fat if you're trying to lose weight, which most are. And so your body will burn the fat you ate first before it burns your body fat. So you want to take in less fat. Once you are a fat burner, then you'll burn your body fat instead of having to just burn the fat you eat. So a lot of people will have this. Go ahead.
That's what ketosis is burning body fat.
Yes, burning body fat.
That's what ketosis is.
You're burning it for fuel. And so when we go back to our ancestors, this is how they had it. Back in a long time ago, they would have, in the summer months, they had excess, and they could hunt and get all this meat, and a lot of times they preserved it with salt,
Yeah.
And so they got a lot of salt in their diet when they were not having as much food. So
they were also sweating it out by hunting and doing everything else. So yeah.
Yes. But during the winter months when food was scarce, they were basically keto because their body was burning their body fat for fuel. Okay. So they were still able to do things and be active, but their body had enough fat in it to fuel it. And you didn't have to be, fat. I mean, you can have a skinny person that has still plenty of body fat in the body to use up. So, but it's a fuel. It is a great fuel source for us. And that's part of the thing, with epileptics. From what I understand, some of it is their brain cannot utilize glucose. And that's why that diet became along. Actually, that's where it started, was besides back in our ancestors being that way naturally, but their brains can use ketones for fuel. They can't use glucose, so the glucose causes the seizures and stuff, from my understanding anyway. So another reason why that originally came about in the first place. So
actually, Crystal, if you could kind of touch on how the brain needs fat. Can you touch on that for me?
Yeah. Well, the brain is made up of cholesterol, so you have to feed it good fat and good cholesterol for it to work right. Like I remember back in the 90s when I was a kid, all the fat-free, low-fat diets. Yeah. And that was probably one of the worst things that could have happened, because when they take out the fat, they actually add in sugar. And sugar is, what causes us to be fat. But we need that fat to convert our different things, for our brain to work. Like our brain needs the fat. You have to feed it fat. You have to feed it good cholesterol. So eggs are not bad either. Eggs have good cholesterol in it.
A whole egg.
Yeah, a whole egg, and I can see how, okay, maybe not 6 eggs a day or something, or I don't know how much is per person, but you know what I mean? Like, it's okay to have eggs, and every day for that matter, if you want, because it has good omega-3s, it has that good cholesterol in it, and especially if the eggs are free range, they're out in their natural environment getting that good vitamin D. And also I want to say that when your body takes in vitamin D from the sun, it's actually not really doing that. The sun will convert your cholesterol over to vitamin D. So we need good cholesterol for many different things.
Yep.
Well, I'm going to introduce eggs back into my diet. I was told eggs was bad for me because my cholesterol was high. And so I stopped eating eggs. And so I think I'm going to have to put them back in my
Yes,
diet.
you need to put them back in.
I love
The
eggs.
cholesterol, yeah.
Eggs
The problem
are
with
so versatile.
yeah, the cholesterol comes mainly from the carbs, the starchy carbs and the sugars. That's really what's causing more of the problem.
Yes.
So and
Actually, yeah.
triglycerides, which triglycerides, they're starting to know more that the higher triglycerides is more of a danger really than the LDL. So, but the triglycerides is basically related with the sugars. So
yeah, eating a high carb, high sugar diet is what causes high triglycerides for your LDL to be high and your HDL to be low. It throws it all off.
Yeah, yeah.
That is phenomenal. And that is also a game changer, people. If you're listening, what I am hearing is that a higher sugar and higher carbohydrate diet is what causes more of the cholesterol in your bodies.
So
And
no flour,
I've been
no
hearing
sugars.
all my life that it was red meats. I've heard that all my life. I've heard that from doctors all my life.
So get this.
And that is a game changer.
I've heard, and I'm not a scientist, so but I heard that the only way to raise your HDL, the good one, is to actually eat saturated fat. And I believe that because I eat a lot of saturated fat and my HDL has gone up. So and then here the doctors are telling everybody to stop eating saturated fat, that it's clogging your arteries up. And it's actually more the plant-based oils that are causing that than it is the saturated fat. Because they're oxidizing. The plant-based oils are oxidizing. They're not, and they add all kinds of other things to them, and they're not just natural. Saturated fat is just natural. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So you guys are blowing my mind. I love when my mind is blown. I love when my mind is blown.
I love it when it's blown too because you have good questions.
I absolutely love that my mind is blown because it makes me change. Hey, you guys, I'm 58. I'll be 59 this year. I plan on living till I'm 95. The only way to do that is to learn from Crystal and everybody that she brings on, I promise you. And not only that, I do my research outside of her. And every single solitary time, she's been right. And I don't say that about a lot of people, but Crystal's been right every time. And so I trust everybody she brings on here because they're, like-minded people bring like-minded information. So what I want to say is do your own research, know your own body, talk to your doctors. I'm not telling you guys not to do any of that. We're just saying what happens for us and what I've heard all my life, as I'm sure what you've heard all your life too. So game changing is amazing. Mind blowing is amazing. But go out there, do your own research, talk to your own doctors, speak yourself into wellness because we want our bodies to be balanced and more. We just need all of it to be balanced in one place. So and all of that ends up into wellness. Now, something that you said, Jan, that really intrigued me the most. Two things. One is I told you we were going to go back to the dental. Let's do that first. And then the second thing I'll talk to you about is how you never fell off. Like you said you have never cheated. That right there, sister, me and you need to talk about. But the first thing, let's talk about how you said that how the dental helps with the keto diet. Explain that, please.
Sure. So I just got back from the dentist today and had a checkup, but I have a mouthful of missing teeth and other, problems that I've had over the years, root canals and all of that kind of stuff. But because I was a sugarholic in the past. And I didn't brush my teeth regularly either. I always did it once a day. I probably didn't floss. But since I've been keto, I have had perfect checkups. And the cool thing is I always hated the cleanings. When you go and they scrape and they scrape and you're just like, oh, that hurts. So the last couple, few years when I've been doing this, I go and the only thing they're scraping pretty much is on the back of the bottom of the bottom. And I asked them, I said, so what can I do for that? And she says, really, there's nothing. Everybody has that because your salivary glands are there. So that's the only place they scrape on me anymore. They just kind of pick around everywhere else, but it's not like it used to be where I would, seem like they're scraping for a half an hour. And my gums are really in good shape. They have not been receding more. I'm 60 years old, going to be 61 this summer. And I just, my gums are great. And they said, whatever I'm doing, I just keep doing. So
explain to me, explain to me, why does that help? Why does keto diet help on the dental? What is it helping?
No sugar. I have no sugar in my diet. No sugar, no starchy carbohydrates to turn to sugar.
Gotcha.
So I'm not putting any of that sugar in my mouth. So it's kind of a no-brainer, really. It's just amazing. I was just blown away. That was kind of a side effect that I wasn't even counting on when I started realizing, oh, okay, that's probably why. So it's really awesome,
Now, how is it that you never cheated? Like, how is it that you never ever cheated? What is that about?
So I make treats. Okay, yes. I make keto treats. And definitely I can get into a rut where I'm eating too many treats and gain a little weight back. But the thing is, I'm never out of ketosis because it is still calories in, calories out. I mean, there's still a fact there that definitely plays a role. If you're going to eat thousands of calories, you're going to gain weight, whether you're in ketosis or not. Okay. But I just make treats. I always make sure that I'm prepared. If I'm going to go to a party or something like that, I usually bring something that I can have.
So what's your favorite?
So probably my favorite is my chocolate chip cookies. I pretty much make those all the time. I've perfected my recipe over and over, and I think I got a pretty good recipe that's really good, and it makes 24 cookies, and it's really easy to make. Doesn't take a lot of time. So I just always have those on hand. But I mean, I've made anything from pumpkin pies in the holiday time that are sugar-free, pumpkin cheesecakes. I've made, there's some awesome chocolate pudding. I mean, there's just anything you could think of, you can make keto. So
now, how can we find that? Like, how can we find you, and how can we find those recipes?
Yeah, so my website is www.en4l.com. Stands for Essential Nutrition for Life, because that's my official company name. On there, there is a blog. You can just click on the blog, and that's where I have several of my recipes. There's actually, I think, an ice cream recipe there too, but I know that's where my chocolate chip cookie recipe is. So you can.
And we can contact you through your website.
And you can contact me through my website as well. And then, like I said, that quick start guide is also on there, or will be on there later today. If you get on there and it's not finding it, it will be on there later. So
Now, Crystal, is your mom on the keto diet? She does a lot of low carb, and she does use a lot of keto recipes. I know she's probably, I think she might have contacted you in the past before, Jan. I'm sure she always asks me for, like, what does your friend Jan have? Like, what books is she reading right now? And like all this stuff. So, yeah, I remember when Jan started doing the keto diet, she made these no-bake cookies. And I was like, and you had those, and I was like, I took a bite and I was like, shut the front door. I was like, no sugar. I was like, what the what? I was like, this is my jam. This is my jam. We're going to eat this up, right? So yeah, it's really good. You don't even notice the difference hardly. And my mom, I have to mention, my mom does make this pumpkin pie, keto pie recipe. It's like a streusel on top for every time we have like Christmas or something now. And she makes it specially dairy-free also. And of course, it's already basically, it's already gluten-free, so I don't have to worry about that. But she makes it dairy-free so all of us can eat it, and it is fire. It's delicious.
So Jan, let me ask you this, because we have about 10 minutes left on the broadcast. Can you tell me who is good to go on keto diet and who's not good to go on keto diet? Like, who is it good for and who isn't good for?
So, I mean, the blood type thing matters, okay?
Yes.
So if you're an A blood type, it's not to say you can't do it. You're just going to maybe need to tweak it a little bit for yourself. Anybody that's an O blood type, no problem. I highly recommend it. It's your way of eating. It's the way your ancestors ate. It's very beneficial for the O blood type. And then the other blood types are okay. My husband's a B, and he does fine with it. He has no problems with it. But the AB and the A might have a little bit of issue. But otherwise, I mean, I really feel like it is probably the healthiest way of eating. And a lot of times people want to debunk it. But then those are the people that are eating all the processed food. And you're like, so when I'm eating meat and green vegetables on my plate, that's not healthy, and what you're eating is healthy? I mean, you know, when you start thinking about it that way, people don't really realize. They just think you're eating a bunch of fat, and it is not what it is at all. And I'm not even a believer of having a big meal plan. I do meat and green vegetables. I keep it very simple. Very, very simple. So many people want to have, oh, what's your macros? And I have to do meal planning. Well, you know what? You won't succeed. Because people will do that for a couple of weeks, and then it's just too much. We are too busy in America.
Portion control is pretty important. So you should have, is it still that you should have the palm size at a meal?
That's a good, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good measure.
Portion control is really important. And I don't think that it matters how much vegetables you eat, right? You can eat it.
No, you can have as many green vegetables. You know, you have to watch cauliflower. It's a little higher in carbs, but generally most green vegetables are fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay away from the potatoes, of course, you know, and stuff like that. Those are high starches.
Occasionally I'll have a little bit of sweet potatoes, just a very small amount, and I don't feel like that's cheating. I feel like my body can, you know, I just have a very small amount. I don't do any white potato ever. But other than that, I just, you know, I cauliflower rice. If I'm going to do some rice thing, radishes work great to cook. I hate radishes. Like raw. I just absolutely hate them. But when you cook them, it turns into like a potato. It's like I can make hash brown potatoes, and they are so delicious. What? It's amazing. It really is.
I don't like radishes either, but I used to eat them. You know, I used to eat them. But I'm gonna have to try that.
Yeah.
So do you have recipes on your website?
So I don't have a whole lot of recipes on my website, just because it's not been. I follow another person that I kind of use her recipes, and I come up with some of my own, but that's kind of not my thing, really. So
I feel you.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to do some of that probably more in the future when I have more time to do that. But yeah.
Well, I have so many more questions for both of you guys, but obviously we're not going to get it all in on this broadcast. So I would like to invite you, Jan, Miss Jan, if you wouldn't mind coming back on with us in the near future, so that we can tackle some more questions and get some more answers out there. Again, can you explain to us how to reach you again? Give us your website and how to actually be a part of your list.
Sure. Yeah. So my website is www.en4l.com, and there's a contact form on there if you want to contact me by email. My free keto guide is on there, and then my blog has some recipes. So it's all you can all find it all on that website.
And then Miss Crystal, can we talk about the subscription?
Yeah, so we only have one more day left up until tomorrow for early enrollment. For anybody who wants to join up until tomorrow, I will have it for $15 for the monthly service we're providing. It's normally $25 a month. And in there, I'll be in there 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday. You can have my health coaching services at your will. And we will have Wellness Wednesdays in there, like today, every Wednesday. Fridays, I'm going to teach class on nutrition and lifestyle changes and gut health. There's so many things in there we're going to talk about, but every day, Monday through Friday, I have something in there for everybody. And it's just a way for me to help multiple people instead of going one-on-ones, I can just help a lot of people all at once. So, and I want to say that this Wellness Wednesday has been a blessing, because with people coming on here, we can learn so much from each other. Yeah. All of us have our niches and our expertise, and we all can work together and share things that are going to improve the quality of everyone's life.
I'm absolutely learning so much. It's been a blessing for sure for me. I've learned so much, and I enjoy the time that we spend doing this because it's all about helping people. And that's our bottom line, is that we want to help people by bringing people like Jan on, by using both of you, Crystal and Jan's expertise, and me being the dummy, but asking the questions that we all want to know. I love that. I don't mind being the lesser of the three.
Hey, you're not lesser at all. You are just as a part of this as us. You know, like, I love your questions, and it helps us to give you what you need, like the solutions.
Exactly.
We have solutions, but sometimes we can't relay it unless we have questions asked. So ask those questions away. We want to hear them.
Yeah.
I am learning so much. I really am. And again, you guys, we're not telling you not to go to doctors. We're not telling you not to listen to your doctors. We're not telling you any of that. What we're telling you is to get out there and do your own research. Listen to your doctors, but know your bodies. Know your bodies. And that is why these two women and myself have brought our own experiences into this, and that are helping you with our testimonies. So please, please, please know that we're not telling you not to talk to doctors. We're not telling you not to do anything like that, but just know your bodies and do your research. I'm learning. And the fact that my high cholesterol has nothing to do with my eggs and my red meat, it's mind-blowing to me to have learned that today. And what else could we be, tapping into by knowing people like these two? And that's just amazing. And you're right. Doctors are not nutritionists.
Yeah.
They are doctors, and they're treating the symptoms, and a lot of times not the problems.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Yep. And here we want to get to the root cause. So
we want to get to the root cause. Yeah.
We do.
Yeah.
Yep.
We want our bodies to go back into homeostasis states so that we can. Homeostasis is hormonal. I mean, it's harmonious. It's like the body is balancing itself. It's getting itself back into its balance, and we're so out of whack. Our environments, our eating, all of it. And so we're just we're honing it all in for all of us. And I think it's amazing. It's for women and men. Bring the men, share alike. We need the men to be involved as well, because they are out of balance as well.
Yes.
So it's been amazing. Like I said, I have so many more questions to ask Jan, but I don't want to do it away from you guys, because you'll learn as I'm learning. So is there anything else that you want to say, Jan, before we go? We got about 2 minutes left.
Well, I just want to thank you for having me on here. I love this, and it is my passion, and I just want to help everybody, and this is a great way to do it. So
yeah.
So
Crystal, what do you have to say?
I just want to say thank you everybody for watching. I was so excited to have Jan on here, and thank you Kathy for being on here, and our good co-host. Oh my goodness. And we just learned so much today from each other, and I can't wait to have Jan back on here with us. We're going to have so many good talks from here on out, man. We're rolling.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then again,
wait to get back on.
And then again, just go ahead and comment if you have any questions below when you see this replay. Comment when you watch the replay, and please share with your friends. Tell them about this. Let them know so they can get a hold of Jan. If they want to learn more about keto and her services, you can always get a hold of Jan, or you can get a hold of me at naturalhealthhubcd@gmail.com. But just share with your friends and share the good health. Why not? For the health of it.
Crystal and I will be on live tomorrow, so we'll be on the real Wellness Wednesday with this link so that you can revisit it again. So we'll touch on this tomorrow as well, but just wanted you to know that we have not abandoned you on Wednesday. We will definitely be there tomorrow, and we'll be talking about Jan tomorrow. So Jan, your ears will be burning.
Okay.
So I just want to thank you all for being with us today. I want to thank you all for sharing and subscribing. You only have one more day left to subscribe, so get it in there. At the
For only
$15,
$15.
that's a steal. It's a bargain. So go ahead and subscribe and learn, and let's all get healthy together, because that's what it's all about. Okay. So thank you so much, Jen. Thank you so much, Miss
welcome. Thank
Crystal.
you.
And we will talk soon. Bye.
All right.
Thank you guys. Bye.